Uganda Family TV. Enriching lives. Regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Welcome to the Uganda We Want. It's a Wednesday and we are delighted to have you watching us. Sorry for the technical delay, but here we are to take you through up to midday. And of course today, of course on Monday this week, the Electoral Commission officially opened campaigns for the parliamentary and local government aspirants, and so there is a lot of commotion out there. In a sense, people are giving money secretly and gifts secretly because they do not want to be tagged as if they are bribing voters. But also you realize that from the analysis for the past 2 days, people are adopting a door-to-door strategy, which I think is okay. It's good because people are working, and for example, in the city here, you're not going to get people come to your lorries, and people have a lot of time to walk through the parishes. A pity for the women member of parliament, women member of parliament aspirants who have to traverse the entire district. For example, here in Kampala, you have to go through the 5 divisions. Now I look at someone, for example, in Machindia West, who was only part of the division and with about 2 or 3 parishes. So probably it becomes a little easier for them. They can walk door to door now for these others. And also the other thing that has come up is that people are teaming up to campaign. So they're now normalizing team campaigns. So you find a councillor so they are all looking for votes, which I believe it's good. It saves time, it saves energy, but it also saves resources, and the message can easily be probably reached taken to the destination. Anyway, away from that, of course, the presidential candidates are almost in their 50th day of campaigns, and of course a lot is happening out there. There are candidates who, according to the GPS, are supposed to be in places that they never go to. Of course, we might know those candidates. I might not talk about them. There are also candidates who have presidential candidates who have adopted door-to-door. Last week, towards the weekend, we saw the president of NUP having a lot of issues, especially in the region he had gone to, where he is still up to now. But of course, yesterday, some of the people who were arrested in Mbarara were brought to court, and some were charged from in Mbarara over driving automotives without license. Others were charged with public nuisance. But outstandingly, one person who is Olivia Lutaya was brought to Kanyanya, where the other 10 party members are being charged, and of course her cases were not different from the cases of the other 10, so they are now 11, and so she's also being charged with holding unlawful drills, military drills, but also having a military like attire, possessing a military like attire, which ends up taking her into the hands of the court martial. That is according to the new UPDF Amendment Act. So remember, Olivia Lutaya outstandingly was a talk of town for quite some time. For over 4 years, she was in prison over treachery, and she was released on after presidential pardon last year. And of course, she was arrested again. Remember, she was arrested in Kalangala in 2020, around the same time during the campaigns, and she was arrested again around the same time. Now, wait to see where her fate lies. Now, that's a brief summary of what is happening, but of course we are going to have a deeper analysis of what is happening, how the campaigns are moving. Of course, for the first about 35 days, they were peaceful, and people said the campaigns were boring. Reverend will tell us here whether they were indeed boring or it was an unanswered prayer, and we wonder why people really want chaos and what they benefit out of chaos. But with us is Reverend Daniel Wajuli, who is a program specialist at the Interreligious Council of Uganda. Reverend, it's a pleasure having you this morning.
Thank you, dear. Morning to listeners and those who are viewing. We want to thank you for sparing some time for us, but also your contribution matters, and that contribution is part of your time, part of your airtime on the television, part of whatever you're doing there, like a twist and so forth. So we must say thank you and call upon you to be part of this talk show until the end of it. Okay. You are most welcome.
Thank you. And of course, we have someone new on this panel, but it's a pleasure having you, William, from the Uganda Christian Lawyers Fraternity. I want to back it. Uganda Christian Lawyers Fraternity. Yes, it's a pleasure having you as well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adrian. Our listeners, those that are actually watching all over this country, we want to take this singular honor to appreciate you for your continuing support and also choosing to watch Family TV, I think the most convenient TV. My name is Ronald Williams. The same way I'm a lawyer by profession. I work with Uganda Christian Lawyers Fraternity, but also I'm a trainer of trainers at a Fidelis Leadership Institute on voters education. I'm very glad to be here. I look forward to have a wonderful engagement with all of us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Now we know the people we have. Reverend.
Yes.
We want to first of all evaluate the other days before the Arua raid, because I think that is when the story now changed. But before the Arua saga, or especially on the side of NUP, we didn't experience any violence. The campaigns were silent, and people were like, it's as if we are not going to vote. There's no momentum. We've not yet seen the momentum. I mean, and then when we started seeing the violent scenes, for example, what happened in Arua, what happened in Churuhura, and what happened in Mbarara, then that is when people now think that we are now picking the momentum of the campaigns. Why do people delight in violence as part of the momentum of campaigns?
One, I would think it is lack of civic education.
Okay.
That's very key. You remember when we started this program discussing the electoral process, I told you that we have a number of stakeholders, and each stakeholder has a role to play. Once one sleeps on the job, then we end up in trouble. So when you look at the history of Uganda, right from, let me start from 1980, 1996, because I've been around, 2001, now all the campaigns during those past days, they were almost confrontational. And now the people who have been part of and participated in those electoral processes are used to seeing such things happening, and now they are accustomed. They think that every political or every elections there must be violence. This particular one, we started from a low note, whereby people thought that maybe there are no campaigns. But because the way the Electoral Commission designed it, they first flagged off the presidential candidates, who are just a few. Actually, there are 8. So when they're in the northern, this side down, we don't see anything. But now, as they have kept on bringing other candidates on board, until when they flagged off the MPs and local government candidates, that's now when you can start feeling, because now very many people are in the arena. But in the first days, there were only 8 people. So when the other one is in Rwenzori, another one is in Bugisu, another one is elsewhere scattered, people could not feel that they are there, but they could only, those who are having them, but it was also a small or a short time, because one day and then they disappear. But now, since they have flagged off the MPs, candidates, local government candidates, now the whole thing is full board, and you cannot move for about a kilometer without meeting with a group of people looking for votes. But I think on the other side, when people think that where there is no violence, where there is no commotion, that is no politics, then they're on the wrong side. Because for us, our prayer has been to have peaceful campaigns, peaceful elections, and even post-elections peace. So when they started this saga of again exchanging, like I told you, that for us as religious leaders, our will and wishes that we have throughout peaceful electoral process. But again, we are not the only stakeholders in the business. We have media, we have police, we have electoral commission, we have judiciary, we even have donors from outside or funders. So now each of us and the candidates themselves, the political parties, each of us has a role to play to see that we deliver a credible election in this country. And I think it is possible. Though some things are coming up, some anomalies are coming up, but I think some of them are manageable. And even if it is a football, you end up seeing some people getting yellow cards, others getting red, others, but it doesn't mean that they are stopping the match. The match continues, but some are given warning, yellow cards, others are suspended by giving red cards. But now, when you look at the scenario which took place in Arua, which took place in Lira, which took place in Chiruhura and the Ankola as a region, we need now to see that the judicial fraternity, these guys here, they must be ready and steady enough to dispense justice as possible, as early as possible. Because now we don't want to see these players delayed. And even the police, when they arrest or give a yellow card, they should not contain these people or keep these people in their custody for a long time. Let them handle them very quickly. If the cases they have committed can be given a bond, they should give them a bond, and one they go back to the field. And that's what I expect from judiciary. Once these people appear in courts and these cases are bailable, they should be given bails and they go back and continue with their campaigns. And that is how we can be, or how we can see free and fairness in the political arena and space and what is taking place in our country. But on the other hand, also the players, they should abide to the rules of the game. And because some want to be seen on the scene, which is bad, and sometimes we end up badly. So my prayer is that since they have opened up for everybody, and outside there now we are on full board, everybody is moving up and down. Yes, so long as they do it in accordance with the law.
Okay.
Being a candidate, or being a support of a candidate, or being a driver of a candidate, it doesn't guarantee you freedom which will affect other people's freedom. Because now when you are passing through like downtown in Kampala, where people are busy from different parts of the world or of the country, they have come for business. One day we were at a funeral which had gathered very many people from different parts of the country. And then somebody looking for Chairman LOC1 ticket came and I said, please, you people support me and vote me for a ticket. And then we said, for us, we are not part of his LOC1 here. He's wasting our time. So we should also have it at the back of our mind that some of these people we are inconveniencing. They are not part of what we are looking for in this particular area. But when they go back to their places, yes, they can do it. So these are some of the issues where you find that some political leaders or candidates will be clashing with security organs. Okay. Yeah. So if you're on the road, it doesn't mean that when you're a candidate, you don't abide with the traffic laws.
Because I'm on the trail.
You're on the trail. No, it is not anywhere in the law that when people are politicking, they can inconvenience others. Because now you're inconveniencing someone driving a trailer from Mombasa, wants to drop things here in Kampala and go back. I'm coming from Soroti. I want to buy things here and then go back. And you keep me in the jam. That's a necessary jam. I stay there for hours. This group crosses, this one crosses. They are driving carelessly. Those are some of the things that will spark up some of the commotions. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Reverend. Now, you brought us something, and since we have Council Ronald here, he's going to tell us a few things about the law in line with this. Of course, we, for example, what happened in Bara, if we can build on that, where for this particular one person, that she was charged with cases that are not associated with what was happening. But the police says they were looking for her for quite some time, and so this was an opportunity where they open for the candidate and his trail, yet there is a blockage at the other side. So when you enter, it's like a trap. After entering, they have been looking for a way of arresting, but also the way they were arrested, much as with our criminals, but the way they were arrested, we see ladies being arrested by men first of all, but also that violent way of arresting. I mean, some had their clothes torn, and is this lawful in a way where the police is exercising their duty, but also effecting an operation? Do they just drag people the way they were as long as they're arresting them, since they've been looking for you for a long time?
Thank you so much. One, I would want to admit that it is unfortunate, and I want to sympathize with the families of those that were illegally arrested, but also frustrated. I want to tell and inform viewers that our grand norm, the 1995 Constitution, it gives mandate to all citizens of this nation. I think that's Article 59, to participate in an election at any level. And also, it still gives citizenry power to choose who they want. The same grand norm also gives right to the citizenry in regard to their right to choose who is going to be their leader. Regarding to what happened, especially that is Chiruhula, what we saw on TV, and of course from other social media platforms, and what transpired in Mbarara, it was very unfortunate. However, I would also want to say that we still have a lot of work to do as a country in regard to the lawlessness, on how these things are handled, especially during this political season. I want to also second Reverend about what he said in the preamble on the importance of civic education. Yeah, whereas we have very many culprits of political violence, and it's because we haven't had EC that is actually mandated to conduct that come out to educate citizenry about the importance of voters' education. A reason why we have very many participants, actually the key stakeholders in this whole thing, they are us, the citizenry, the voters, and then we also have the candidates, and then we have the police. Of course, its mandate is to keep law and order. Yeah. Of course, I cannot also take away the aspect of judiciary, and these are custodians of the law. Whereas most people are found at the bad side of the law. The main cause of that, the fact that they do not know what to do in regard to what would be how to engage into this exercise. However much it is unfortunate that some of these members that were arrested during Mbarara time, I believe that some of them were also ignorant about what would be the law. I may not say that they were totally innocent, no, but I would agree that they have a right to fair and speedy fair and speedy access to justice. Whereas from what, because we have one, I want also to say that we have laws that govern elections, and we have an act actually that was constituted amended in 2005, the Parliamentary Election Act. It gives guidance on how elections should happen, and how actually what would be violences, offenses, yeah. And most of actually the foot soldiers, in this case the political activists, especially those who are actually not the main participants, why they are actually finding themselves at the wrong of the bad side of the law, the fact that some of those have not been ably educated to them. If I could talk about what happened in Mbarara, most of these people were charged with offenses that had actually been charged against them before. Yeah, the case that is that lady. I believe that she would actually have learned from the past what happened, and then now she would be in position to know that actually having something that is maybe that appears as if it is for the army, it is probably wrong. So they would have now come with another strategy. If I was a participant in that particular campaign, I would come with another strategy. Okay, the UPDF Act can pin you in regard to what would be their gazetted symbols and colors and everything. But as a party, which other strategy, which other mean of attraction, of identity have you come up with? And this is because also the civic education, which is supposed to be actually a mandate of the state, I mean of electoral commission, and also those particular parties, because they also have a right to conduct those civic education and also alert their members about what would be the outcome of finding themselves at the wrong, at the bad side of the law. So I believe that it is the mandate of judiciary, as Leveland said, to expeditiously give access to justice, especially during this time. Why? Because it's very unfair to find that it's only a certain political party being so much targeted
Every
election, and looking at the other, of course, constant facts, you find that even a little kid would really say that there is a problem. So I believe that the judiciary, the court, during this time, they should be able to try these cases as urgent as they are, so that when these particular suspects are brought, they are then given to those rights, the fundamental right of bail, so that if that case, that offense that was committed by that particular suspect is bailable, that should be done immediately, to give also and to give them a right to proceed with what would be the interest of what they are standing for. But my take or my position that it was unfortunate, and it is still unfortunate to see that some people are targeted and then the other are left to do what they can do without any compromise.
Okay.
Thank you.
Before
Yes, Reverend, before we go for a break.
You see, in Uganda, within a period of 5 years, those who were minors are now 18 years old. They have never participated in any election. And these are the people now who are in the political process. Now, they stand high chances of committing crimes if they are not educated about the whole process. And I think this one should go to Electoral Commission to see to it that they use possible means. We still have some time to carry out sensitization, to carry out civic education, to use all means they can to avoid what may come out of this kind of politicking. And then two, arresting when the police and the other security organs are keeping law and order is not bad, but they should respect those people they are arresting, people's dignity. Stripping people naked, that one is bad. If you want to arrest me, please mind about my dignity. I deserve dignity. I have a family. I'm a mother, I'm a father, I'm a responsible person, and then you tear my clothes and you leave me half naked. To me, that one is very wrong. It is very wrong. Even if you don't apply law and you apply Ubuntu, it is wrong. No person under the sun here can resist arrest. If you talk to them and say, please, you are in a wrong place, or you have committed this crime, we want you to go and make a statement, or you are under arrest, and you identify yourself, introduce yourself to me, and tell me, Reverend, I'm Edwin from CPS. I've been sent to come and arrest you. This is the document. You introduce myself to me. Don't just grab me as a kidnapper.
That is why they refer to it as kidnapping.
Yes. Once it goes beyond the measures of arresting, it becomes kidnapping.
Okay.
Yes, because you're applying a lot of force. Around, I saw they were like 20 or 30 people arresting one person. And then it means, maybe sometimes, Edwin, when we are discussing some of these issues, and you have those snapshots, we would be throwing them there, and people see what we are talking about. We don't just want to talk out of imaginations. and people say, yes, now there, where was this lady's dignity? As a mother, she committed a crime, but is it true? Because it is the court now to tell us that it was what? A crime. So before this person is judged, let's respect one another. Don't just grab me, harass me, embarrass me. And that is a psychological torture. That one we cannot accept it. It is wrong. We must say it was wrong, and it will continue to be wrong. Once people are declared candidates of any color, of any party, so long as they are legally there, they deserve respect and dignity.
Thank you so much, Reverend. And at that point, we're taking a short commercial break. When we return, we'll continue with the conversation. Of course, there are a lot of things that are evolving, especially with the ongoing campaigns that we really need to talk about in line with the civic education. Now, stick with us as we come back.
This is Church of Uganda Family TV. Enriching lives. Regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission. This is Church of Uganda Family TV. Enriching lives. Regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Welcome back from the break. This is the Uganda we want, and of course we are in a very sensitive period, so it's a time to determine which kind of leader for you want for that Uganda that you would want. And of course everyone out there has their own manifesto. There is someone who tells us protecting the gains, and then another one tells you a new Uganda, another one tells you money in the pocket, another one tells, I mean, everyone has their own manifesto and slogan for the campaigns, but it's up to you and how they convince you to choose them as their best. And of course when we get down in an amazing and unique way, this time around, according to the statistics of the Electoral Commission, the parliamentary elections, the parliamentary nominations attracted very, very many people. And now this means, according to the statistics, we have over 2,000 aspirants. That is for only parliamentary, and these are vying for only 529 seats. And of course, majority of these, according to the statistics, still show that we have very many independent candidates, opposed to the previous years where people really had a lot of trust in the political parties, and so people would vote you because of the political parties. But also, when you look at the statistics in Parliament, you realize that the number of independent candidates has been growing over time. And I think in this outgoing Parliament, there were over 71. And of course, analysts already predict that the number might even grow in the coming parliamentary elections. Reverend,
Yes.
With these statistics, what does this mean, especially for the traditional way of doing things, where people would vote you because of your political affiliation, people would vote you because you're in this particular political party? We've also seen people coming to political parties, and when they're not considered in the political party, they either cross the other political party, or they go for they come as independent. For example, the NRM has come out to preach and say, please support the one who was given the party ticket. And some people have openly come out to contest that and say, me, I still believe that I have the grounds, I have the courage, and I can really win this position for the NRM. I think it is alluded to what happened in Chisoro when they were having a by-election. I think it was sometime last year, when the one who was given the party flag wasn't voted, and they voted the independent candidate who was NRM leaning. And I think this opened the people's eyes to believe that okay, so it is like this and this. Now, for example, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, J.J. Odong, also came out and said, no, I'm not going against the party rules. I am NRM, I treasure NRM, but I wasn't around to defend my position when the primaries were on. So that is why I come, because I believe I'm still the legit candidate. What does this communicate, especially to the especially the fact that we are moving from the traditional way of having things, where we have parties being represented, and now we are seeing people signing memorandums with political parties but not coming on these parties' tickets?
Thank you, Edwin. Around that, we have three key issues we have to address. One, was Uganda prepared for multi-party politics? That's one.
And you have the answer.
And then two, were Uganda prepared for multi-party politics? And then another issue is weakness of political parties and organizations. Because when you look at Africa, though we are trying to practice this kind of democracy, but it is almost failing according to what is on the ground. When we were under individual merit system, people could run because there were no primaries, there were no what. Those who thought they are fit for the race, they could go. And then too, when you come to, yesterday I saw the Daily Monitor, and it gave a very good analysis. What we are struggling with here, people do not know what they call political party organization. They go there as individuals, and there is that aspect of egoism. Some are driven by that. If I'm not there, nothing will happen. I must be there, and it is all about me. So now, again, when they were doing or putting in place the constitution, that thing remained there, and it can only be corrected when they amend that part to say nobody is allowed to stand as independent. But when it is still in the law of the land, it is going to escalate. Because now, when you look at what happens during the primaries, some people will avoid and give excuses. I was out of the country. And now, by the time I came back, I was sick. They want to avoid this political violence and enmity during primaries. But also, it is more expensive during primaries. Some people want just intend to avoid this unnecessary spending and say, since the law allows independence, I will go as an individual. And now, when he comes as an individual, he will claim that I belong to everybody, and everybody belongs to me. Now, that pushes us back where we were before bringing in the multi-party politics, where people came as individuals, they convinced the citizenries, they are elected and given responsibilities. But now, once we continue like that, we will not build our political parties. Because people appreciate political parties when they have been given cards. But once they are denied cards and cards are given to those people they think they are the most fitting, they stand and say, no, for me I'm going as an individual. Then why did you waste time and resources to go for primaries? But also, these political parties, they should build their system and understand their members. But also those who join political parties should know the rules of the game. Because here we are cherishing individuals than building up the systems. When you look at the politics in Kenya, is always shifting. It is so dynamic. Each election period, you will see somebody who was a president in this party crossing, leaving this party, joining the other group, and then you see again a shift from this group, they form up another coalition. Then that one takes us back at what I told you, that did Africans understand this Western kind of democracy we are trying to practice today in Africa. You saw what happened in Tanzania.
Yeah.
The main challenger is picked, thrown in prison, and then the whole story.
And the next in line is also banned from contesting.
Yes. and some other people come up and say, aha, they have removed this one, now let us go. 17 of them on the ballot paper, and the winner gets 98%. Is that what were these people doing? 16 people sharing 2%. So, do we understand what we are trying to do as Africans, as Ugandans? Because if we do not analyze and go back to the drawing board and say, maybe we don't understand what we are doing. You see, one time, former president of Libya, Muammar Gaddafi, for him, he said, you can keep on electing the others, but for me, don't waste your time. And now that one takes us to monarchism. Like when you go to Britain, the king is the overall. But you can elect the prime minister, you can elect other people, you can elect what. So when it comes to House of Lords, no elections. Disappointment. Now, the same thing applies here. And this time round, we might get a bigger number of independents who are more than even the leading opposition in parliament. And now, it brings in another debate. Should we give the lead of opposition to independents? But they are not an organization. They are not a party. They don't have a leader. They don't have a secretariat. They don't have what? They are just individuals
who belong to these other political parties, but because of a few issues.
And it is also bad. Sometimes you said they cheated me. Sometimes it is genuine, it is true. They are cheated. And when they come here, they maintain their independence. But again, when it comes at a certain level, you will find them biasing somewhere. When you maintain to say that I'm independent, I would pray that you remain independent, not to confuse people. There is a guy who is campaigning, I think he's around Mukono or where. For him, he's saying, I belong to all parties. I'm independent. You are independent, but you are belonging to all parties. When you see me going to NUP, don't quarrel. When you see me going to NRM, don't quarrel. When you see me going anywhere, don't quarrel. I'm independent. I'm for all of them. And that one is a language of convincing voters. It's a language of convincing voters. And also avoiding exorbitant expenditures. So for us, I for one, I would prefer people to develop a sense of associating, because we have a freedom of association. Belong to any political party, and when you belong to any political party, abide with the regulations there, with the laws there, and we build the systems, we build stronger parties than building individual. Once that individual dies, the whole system will collapse. Now, let me give you an example. Some parties did not front presidential candidates because they built their systems around individuals. And when that individual is not there, no one else merits. But when you are building a political party, the aspect of succession plan is there. It must be there. When I'm not there, who comes next? But in our so-called political parties we have today, if you intend and make a mistake of showing up yourself that maybe I may be the next, you are kicked out. And our political parties are gurus, because the way they construct their political parties, they build it with the sense that nobody can understand their ideology without them. They are the ideology, they are the ones who can explain. And you find that we run after them all the time. Is the only one.
And then they'll come and tell you, Abantu bansabye.
And then they disguise and say, people have requested me to come back. Which people? So I want to sound a warning or a request to our political leaders. Help us to build political systems. Build parties, build organizations. Do not build yourself alone.
Okay.
And then everybody looks at you, everybody runs after you, you are the center of each and everything. That's very wrong. And that's the democracy we have in Africa.
Okay.
So I think I would also want to give my 2 cents on that.
Yes, please.
I think without fear and any contradiction, I also want to say that most of these political members of these different political parties are not drawn by the aspirations of those particular parties, but they are drawn by their selfish interests. A reason why we have very many people coming up as independent. A case in point, as what Leveland was trying to say, most of the people that were denied a card, for example, in the current NUP, we realized that, or we have evidence that most of these people had to come as independent. Either they
Others have crossed to other
actually
parties.
others have crossed other parties, either PPF or even
DF.
NRM or DF. What does that mean? It means that actually the sense of multi-party system in this country wasn't, the idea of multi-party system in this country was not yet ready to be embraced by the citizenry. So also another thing is that we have demagogued our political systems, that political parties are built on individuals. Without this particular individual, a party can't go. What does that mean? It means that even after failing to go through as a member of parliament in your constituency, being maybe defeated by your fellow member, you will actually, because of the selfish interest that you have, you will not agree. But remember, some of these particular parties, they have rules. I'm aware that in NRM they had agreed that actually when you lose, you do not come as independent. But because we have lost, as I said, the demagogue nature of politics, where it's only one person who won't be challenged by the other. So now that brings, I also want to confirm that in 2026 we are going to have very many independent candidates come as member of parliament. And also I want to give a case for Tanzania. I want to believe that we may, however much they have may have made illegal mistakes in regard to electoral process, but I also want to say I admire their way of embracing the multi-party way of handling things. I think the Chama Cha Mapinduzi is one of the longest serving party
It's the only.
Yeah.
It's the only party that has presented
Yes,
presidents.
why? Because the citizenry believe in it. Yeah. Whereas here, I'm not a prophet. We know that besides a certain besides President Museveni, without contradiction, very many people here do not believe that we can have someone at the helm of NRM. Yeah. Also, as he said, from what he said, Reverend, some political parties currently did not front any leader to contest for presidency, but they are supporting another person from another political party as their president. My very good friend Honorable Kasambide, who is now running for Member of Parliament in Buwekura, he tells us, no, don't vote me as a Member of Parliament, as DP, but vote President Museveni as the president.
And in the previous elections, he was in Masaka.
He was in Masaka. That's
vote for me as MP in DP and vote Kyagulanyi
as president. Yeah. So what does that mean? It means that actually the system, these political parties, there are very many lacunas that needs to be addressed.
Okay.
And also I'm wondering whether now such should be quashed, because now what would be the instance of having political parties where now these political parties go against what they have founded?
Okay.
You get? So I still believe that 2026 we are going to have a very big number of independents as members of parliament.
I'll give an example of, for example, Machindie East constituency here in Kampala has 23 candidates, but 4 of those are from political parties. The rest, the 19, are independents.
Edwin, I want to use a Chiganda word. They are those who are there to play a chifiriza.
Okay.
Yes, they know they cannot win, but they just want to go and cause confusion such that some other people can lose. And that's a very bad spirit, because we will end up having poor representation in parliament,
Okay.
poor leadership. You see, when you build strong political organizations and parties, for me, I believe that these parties have the obligation of choosing the best, the core, to represent them, because it gives a fair competition. That when NRM brings somebody, NUP brings, DP brings, PPF brings, they should bring the best quality, such that we can come up. When you go to parliament, you will feel that the parliament, when people are debating. But now, sometimes when you see how parties are operating, the people they are fronting, and you compare with the rejects, and you may even think I go and recycle the reject if you are a voter, compared to what they have put in place. Now, that takes us back to the question I started back with in the beginning. Were Ugandans or Africans ready for multi-party politics? But do they understand the essence of belonging to a political party? But again, another question, do what we have, what we call political parties, are they political parties? Or they are groups of individuals who are looking for their own gains? Because when you are building a political party, you look at our religious systems, leave alone those few people who are coming up with their individual churches. They have a right But when you come to these structured churches, the way they operate, if I don't respect the norms of Anglican Church, I resign and go away. You get the point? But here, and that resignation for me to leave the Anglican Church, it will take me time. Because I have to present my case to the tribunal, do what, and I'm allowed to go with my lawyer to support me, support my case. Now, one day I was wondering, how do you sit in Kampala and decide for people in Kisoro, in Yumbe, who is going to be their favorite candidate without their participation? Then it means that you will depend on this Kabondo here, this smaller group, to give you the information about this person. And now, when they have issues, maybe they are not believing in this person, and then they prefer this one. Then the one who is not believed in and sees that he has the ground, he must come as an independent. But my wish and prayer is that one day I see, by God's grace, I happen to see a democratic Uganda where multi-party or political parties do their work, organize themselves. Because now during primaries they go, others went to Mbarara, they came divided instead of getting united, because the elections were very near. And now after departing, again you hear them calling one another, let us unite. You were one. You kept on fragmenting yourselves.
And then now you
are calling one another, let us come together as opposition. And then that one, the other fellow will remain laughing at you and saying, okay, they lack a vision. But when you start a party, for me, I would pray that you share the ideas, and it become a shared vision, whereby you accommodate every idea and achieve and see that we move as a group. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Reverend. Now, there is also something that has come up in the campaigns. Of course, Tanzania, I think Tanzania's political laws are a little different, because for them they don't nominate independents. You should belong to a political party at whichever level. You should belong to a political party. I think that is why there is an evolution of very many political parties. If you want to contest, then you should belong to a political party. Now, one of the ways is forming one.
Yes.
But I think that is better.
Yeah.
But now there is something that has come up here in Uganda, where you have someone campaigning for the other in a different party with the name of, forget about the symbols, because there was a time when symbols were really prestigious. Someone having a bus on attached to them was really something prestigious, or someone having a key, or someone having a hole, or someone having whatever symbol, and probably the umbrella was so prestigious then. And today you find someone saying, at this I vote for the tree, then here don't vote symbols, vote individuals, because these symbols just come to confuse us, yet they belong to these symbols. What does this
You see, sometimes people want to share their confusion
with the public.
but also when you look at a Democratic Party, Democratic Party has an OU with an RM. And they did not present a candidate for presidency. So what do you expect them to say and do? They have a party, yes, but they have an MOU And for us, we cannot disclose and know what is in the MOU.
It's not a public document.
I think for me, that would be viable for example, for a political party like DP, because it is well known.
Okay.
There was an MOU between the two parties. So where they agree and say, actually, as he said, we may not actually have seen what is in that MOU, but you may find that maybe they had agreed that 2026, please, we are all supporting President Museveni as our candidate, as our presidential candidate, but for this particular positions, of course, starting from MPs and going down, probably we shall have members take part. But also, I would not want to. I wouldn't want to think that this is genuine. Yeah, because you can't support someone that actually do not represent what we stand for. You get what I'm saying? DP has its mission. They have their objectives. They are centered on a certain vision. NLM has a different vision and a different objectives. Now that's where now I see it as something that is fishy in its sense. One is that when they silence one political party, then they have actually, in the other way, silenced what would be the next party. So for me, this is one trick of it's a trick of a political party that is superior to make sure that actually it remains on its course.
There is a scenario that I want us to review, where even someone who, for example, someone is the flag bearer of the NRM, but while campaigning says, forget about the symbols, look at me as a human, as a person, and my abilities, not about the party. So it has nothing to do with the party. I mean, does it mean that people have reached a level of even, they have lost the pride in their parties, that in campaign someone presents themselves as an individual, even when they're the flag bearers, they're saying, no, forget about the symbols, forget about this, now look at me as a person.
Now the issue is, where is this candidate campaigning from? What is the political landscape
in that place?
Okay. Who among the presidential candidates is popular there?
Perfect.
Now, to sugarcoat, I leave my political party presidential candidate, who is not popular. You get the point? And I package myself. And that's what we are talking about, being selfishness. But also individuals presenting themselves as bigger than the parties where they belong.
Exactly. That's the concern.
Now, instead of bringing the party ideology to the voters, and you see, when you bring the party ideology to the voters, they will shun you away. Now they package themselves and they sugarcoat and say, don't mind about symbols. Just look at me as an individual. Because the landscape down here, political landscape, is not favorable to the party as an organization. But people can look into him and say, okay, so him as an individual has no problem. Now, you saw last time when Uhuru Kenyatta was the president in Kenya, he reached somewhere and rejected his deputy president and moved with the political, with the opposition leader, late Raila Odinga. And they brought Ruto at the center. Now this man was isolated from his own party where he's a deputy president, and the opposition leader from the other side came at the center of decision making, even shaping the direction of the politics of the state. And this man was sidelined and was campaigned against. Now, when these things are happening there, we are neighbors. Sometimes we think they can also apply here. But that's what we started with by saying that when we want to see the real democracy taking place in our country, we need to respect our political parties and organizations. But also this area in the Constitution which gives escape route or escape gate for these people who have lost the primaries should be worked on if we are to have stronger political parties. Because you cannot bar them and say don't. But here in the Constitution is allowing them.
Yeah.
It allows both systems, the individual merits and the political party dispensation.
Okay.
So now the two systems are coexisting, and I also want you to look at our political background, how politics started. When you see how people started their alliances, joining hands together to win elections, and then departing, and then rejoining, disagreeing. Now those things have kept on coming back, but we have no people or a group of people, organizations, even civil society organizations, that has taken interest in educating people about multi-party politics in the country.
Okay.
So when we are analyzing what is taking place in our country, we should have all that at the back of our mind and see again, we are in a republic, but again you see cultural institutions growing all over the country, and as they are growing, they are becoming stronger. And when you look at how democracy is practiced in our cultural institutions, this is where people are coming from. People are Anglicans, people are Muslims, people are Catholics, people are born again, people. Now they come with all those influences from where they are coming from to do what we are calling democracy.
Okay.
So we just want to pray that when our candidates are moving around, they should know that they are doing it not for their personal gains, but for the interests of the Ugandans.
Thank you so much, Reverend. Councillor Ronald,
Yes,
with what we are seeing, it takes us back to the other question that Reverend raised. Okay, there are two. Was Uganda ready for multipartism, and were Ugandans ready for multipartism? If now it is survival, I mean, you only have to cling to who is trending in that area. If you realize that this is the, and people, you realize that people are also associating with the politicians. For example, in the Lord Mayorship race, you realize that there are councillors that are supporting a particular Lord Mayor because they know he has some electricity that they can tap into, but they belong to different political parties. Or someone is supporting a particular MP, not of their political party, not because they are their choice or what, but because of what they can tap from that person. So why are we ready for this multipartism if people cannot stand their grounds, to defend their parties?
Thank you so much. I think it is evident from what is happening, from relevant submissions and whatever is happening all over this country. It's evident that Ugandans weren't ready for a multi-party system. But I also do not want to take away the fact that the framers, for example, the framers of the 1995 Constitution and those that initiated the deal to bring the multi-party system, I think they also, as a country, as a growing country, that is one grounded on democracy, that was also good to test the knowledge, to test the readiness of Ugandans. However much we have these, of course, lacunas, these faults, I believe that as we are growing as a country, as people are seeing what is happening, probably later on, we will have a generation that will restructure this system. But from what is happening, it is evident that we have a lot to do as a country to effectively implement the multi-party system. But I also want to take this to our leaders, those that were behind this amalgamation. The onus was upon them to make this popular before citizenry. But actually what they did was to impose it on the citizen. I do not remember any, I don't know whether I was born, I don't know, I do not remember any consultative meeting held anywhere to asking citizenry about this. I may be wrong on this.
But probably Reverend can tell us what happened to reach that referendum, because history has it that people voted. So what were people voting for?
You see, during that so-called referendum, it was not clear enough. You see, if we had wanted to shift from individual merit system, we had to do two things. One of them would usher us into real democracy. One, we missed the area of dialoguing and the debate thoroughly about what we are taking people into. We didn't do the due diligence about the system we are adopting, because the first system of multi-party is not the system we have today. The other first system was about, if you are to be elected a president, your party must raise more numbers of MPs in the parliament, and then they will do the needful. But this one here now, it is everybody determining. Even those who do not know leadership, management, they will walk, go and elect a leader. So there wasn't enough time, and one group was saying to Vejeko, let us open for them to go, and we consolidate. Others were demanding, but of course the people who are demanding then, they had tested the previous multi-party system politics. Their idea was that when we build stronger political parties, we will raise up stronger leaders, because each party will achieve and give us the best. So we missed that area, one, of engaging and sort out the issues to say that when we go for multi-party, this is what it means. So it was just some few people, actually it was almost one party running around, and some few individuals who went around. But some other parties, or parties to be boycotted and said it was not fair. So, but given all that, like he has mentioned, as a generation, we need to do something. We need to help our leaders, those who think that they are well, who think that they are able, who think that they can lead. We need to have a conversation. And for my thought, when they put in place National Consultative Forum, was going to handle some of these issues and see how we can come up with a new Uganda after President Museveni. So we need to have a dialogue, sit together as Ugandans and bring everybody on board, even those market vendors, even those borders, to have a very big meeting, and we discuss on a number of issues affecting our countries. Not discussing only one thing, leadership, politics. Politics should come at the top, at the helm, but it is not the core. No, we have issues. When you listen to people, down there, you will hear people talking about so many things. Now we have oil. So when our candidates are in Karamoja, they will say, now here, I will give you money from gold. When they are in Hoima, in Bunyoro, you are fuel. When they are in Busia, you are fish. When we have nothing common where these politicians can base and come up with a national ideology. So we still have issues to bring together and assemble, and then we have what we can call Uganda, where politics can base. But now our politics, it is basing in some individual people's heads. He comes up and says, tomorrow when I come, I will do this. But are you considering other factors that are around what you are promising people to do?
Yeah, so I think if I may also say something.
Yes. And we get back to where I cut you short because we needed this history from Reverend.
Yes. So from what you asked about whether we are ready for the multi-party system, I also realized that it was important for this multi-party to come up, because then we would not have gotten an opportunity to have the raising young leaders that are actually came through the multi-party system. And I know that we cannot talk about multi-party system and we forget to talk about parties like UPC and NRM. Probably would have a dictatorial system of doing things. I'm imagining a situation where already a certain group of people says Uganda is a dictatorial nation. You imagine if we had a one party running this entire system, it means that actually it would be worse. So I would want to accord respect to the UPC and NRM and other parties that actually agreed. Actually NRM, that would be NRA, that agreed that actually this multi-party system should emanate. Yeah, I think that time going as we move on, young people are going to organize themselves and decide on what to do in regard to what is happening. We all know that the leadership of this country is in its evenings. And some of us still believe that actually without President Museveni, we may have no nation.
He's actually very clear in these elections. He says, this is my last time asking for votes from you. You'll not see me again asking for votes.
Yes, so what does that...
Vote for me.
Yes.
That's what he said.
Yes, so what does that mean? It means that actually as young people, this is the time for us to organize ourselves and choose. Are we able to proceed with the NRM? Or are we choosing to also start another revolution that would now come up to what would be NRM? Why? Because we also know that very many people without President Museveni may not proceed to be members of the NRM.
Well, Ronald, I see our time is actually running out. Give us your closing remarks, and then Reverend will wind up with his remarks as well.
I would want to close by inviting members to participate. I want to remind Ugandans that you're stakeholders in this process. The Grand Norm gives you mandate to go and exercise your right to vote. Vote not because they have given you something. Vote not because vote because it shouldn't be about a personality. It should be about the ideology and what this person represents. With that, then we shall have leaders that will speak for us, leaders that will represent what would be our ideas. And I also want to ask Ugandans, please adhere to the rules and regulations of the EC. But I would also want to argue the other stakeholders, police, and of course the army, which is actually not mandated legally to participate in any of these. Your role is to protect this nation. I want to say that our army has been built, is one of the greatest armies probably in Africa. And we want to accord the leadership for doing that. But the UPDF is for people. It's supposed to protect citizenry. It's not supposed actually to violate them, to harass them. So I want to call upon UPDF police, especially, that is actually a key stakeholder in this, to keep law and order, to make sure that this process has actually amicably done well without any violations. But I also want to say that it's important to engage and also hold accountable, especially for those that will come to seek for support from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Reverend.
Thank you, Edwin. I'm closing with the two remarks. One is that our viewers and voters, you are the issue, because everybody down there is hunting for your vote, and that's the value you have in this process. Your vote is your gold. Your vote is your hospital. Your vote is your road. Your vote is your justice. Your vote is your right. Don't allow anybody to convince you with something very small that you will queue in minutes, and then you go to hospital and there is no medicine. That's one. So when you are exercising your rights as a voter, I want you to be mindful of service delivery, quality service. don't pick that tablet of soap you are going to use for 1 or 2 days and it is finished for 5 years. This person you are electing into that position will be benefiting on your vote because you are the person who is giving interview, and at the same time you are the employer, and at the same time you are giving appointment to a person who is going to get a lot of money or mislead you or misrepresent you. Two, I want to pray to Ugandans that this season we are in, it shouldn't be a season of do or die.
Okay.
It is just a period. We are remaining, actually we're almost halfway, and we are remaining with a few days, and then we go back to a normal business. So I want to request Ugandans that before you go out to support your MP, to support your councillor, to support your chairman, LOC1, first go to your business. Open, get your 1,000 shillings, okay. Get your money put in the pocket as you support the other one who is looking for big money, but using your ignorance.
Okay.
So, such that is how you are going to balance. But yes, if you keep on running, you will hate those people there before even being sworn in, because you will go home, there is no food, no money, no what, and the time you have wasted running after these people is gone. So for me, I want to request you that first do your business,
okay,
and then go for politics. And remember, one time I said here, we want it or not, we must have leaders.
Yes.
By all means.
And this is the time.
Finally,
to choose.
Finally,
yes,
I think we need to come here, Edwin, one time and discuss how do we transition.
Okay.
After 40 years of seeing one leader, which is not bad. Now after him, how is Uganda going to look like? So we need that kind of discussions everywhere.
Okay.
Uganda after President Museveni.
Okay.
Are Ugandans prepared? Are they seeing there? Because when we talk of Uganda without President Museveni, and it is going to be there, we want it or not, nature is going to bring it to us. So we need to prepare ourselves. We need to prepare our political organizations and the parties and leadership in there. But we need a discussion during this.
And we are going to plan for it, Reverend, with the support from the Inter-Religious Council of Uganda.
Thank you, our viewers. Yes. May God bless you abundantly. We want to thank the leadership and management of Family TV for giving us this opportunity to be here and discuss some of these issues that are so pertinent and disturbing in our country. We pray for peaceful, credible, and acceptable elections come 2026. We best wishes to all our candidates, you are winners.
Thank you so much, Reverend. Thank you so much, Pastor Ronald, and to your viewer, thank you so much. We've come to the end of today's edition of the Uganda You Want. Remember, in the night today at 9 p.m. we have the ballot, so you do not have to miss out, as we shall be discussing the rule of law and how it is being exercised in the ongoing election campaign. So, as come through at 9 p.m., and I believe you will get to understand a little more that we might not discuss here in the Uganda You Want. But see you again next week on Wednesday, same time here on Church of Uganda Family TV. Wish you a blessed day.